auditioned for a movie. And I read with the director, which I was excited about. This happened like maybe 18 years ago, right when I started out and moved out in the business. And I had a great read, and I was improvising. I had all these great takes. And at the end of the session, he said, "That was amazing. I am so sorry. We're asking to see Henry Cho."
I had an audition where they wanted me to play this Korean woman, but it was just for like a really small part. It was like one line, right? And so I was like, I could do this. Let me just get my Korean friend to like translate this, and I'll like learn it phonetically. So I went in there and I did the audition with my fake Korean. And then the casting director was like, "That was really great. Can you improvise a little bit?" She was like, you see like this thing crashing, like, and you're trying to save these people. Now do that improv in Korean. I just did this a lot. Ah! Ah! Ah!
Did you get it?
Nope.
I auditioned for a little movie called American Sniper. Perhaps you've heard of it. Clint Eastwood, you know, that guy. During the audition, I had to pretend like I was really tough and duct tape somebody to a chair, and then I had to say, "These hands were made for killing," and they just came out as jazz hands. And the casting director was like, "Could you do that one more time, but like be a little more badass this time?" And I'm just like, "I'll try, but probably not."
Everybody thinks that you can act. You watch something on TV and you're like, "I could do that. The guy's just speaking." Acting is not that easy, and I kind of thought it was, and so I went into this audition with this idea that I'm just gonna cry, because if I cry, that's good acting. And so I went in there and I couldn't cry, and I couldn't do anything well, and it sucked. I walked out feeling horrible, and I didn't get cast in the role.
You know, sometimes you have to audition as a director. My first pitch ever was with Steven Spielberg, Mike DeLuca, Walter and Laurie, and Adam Goodman, which is like a high-powered room. I was 21 years old. I was with my best friend and his now wife, and we were pitching this musical idea. We didn't know how to pitch, so we brought a chest in of costumes and wigs, and we acted out for an hour our movie. It was so embarrassing, but they bought the project, and that's the start of my Hollywood career.
I am so spoiled because when in Hong Kong or in China, when the directors come to you, you have the role. So we never grew up in Asia having to audition for a role until I came to America. And I think there was one time when I walked in, I go, "Oh my God, I'm actually going in to do an audition." I turned around and left. I just didn't know how to hack it. So I think my first real big audition was with Pierce Brosnan. I mean, you just look into those eyes and go, "Oh."
I was in an audition in the very beginning of my career. It wasn't for anything too major, and the reader farted, you know, wah, and I just remember thinking to myself, you know, maybe we should stop the take, maybe retake it, because they're gonna hear, you know, kind of that sound, maybe pinpointed on me, and then politely was like, "Should we do another take, you know, for sound?" And she was like, "No, I think we got it." I was like, "You sure? You sure now?"
Crazy Rich Asians was my first audition, and it was insane. I threw over some tapes after talking to John. He warned me that we might fly over to LA to do a chemistry review with Constance. I had this 32-hour journey. I had 17 hours to do what I had to do in LA, impress who I needed to impress, and then 32 hours back to Singapore. And then a couple days later, I'm in South Africa on my honeymoon. John pulls me from my honeymoon 4 days in and says, "This is the last hoop." My wife was understanding enough, just about, but she understood the importance of this and let me go.
I think it was an audition for an agency. It was an audition before an audition. I was like, "Oh my God, an agent actually wanna, you know, audition me to see if I can, this is my big Hollywood break, you know?" And then I pulled up to the address. It was an apartment complex. And I'm like, "Oh, what is going on?" And then as I walked into the apartment, in the lobby, there was a sign-up sheet. And the agent's office was inside of the apartment rental office. That's how terrible this was. They didn't have a legit office. And they had me read the Staples commercial. And I failed. I was so bad. An agency that ran it out of an apartment rental office rejected me, and it was horrific. And it shook my confidence for a bit. But I think I've since recovered. And also, whoever he is, f*** him.